What's going on, everybody? Today, I just want to let you all know about the UMCOC podcast and how you can listen to it. Now, this is not some new podcast. It's been around for quite a while. As a matter of fact, they had me on as a guest some number of months ago, and there's a good chance that I'll be returning as a guest sometime in the future as well. They even had Gabriel Frazera, who, if you're not aware, is the creative and art director for Marvel Contest of Champions. They had him on for a very long podcast. Super interesting. I'm actually going to play a little clip of some of the conversation that was going on there. Basically, some information that you cannot find anywhere else other than a place like a podcast like this. So yeah, these guys are the real deal, and I just want to show you how you can listen in live to the live podcast, or if you're not around when they're recording it live, then you can listen in after the fact a number of different ways, and I'll show you an example of that as well. So the way to listen to it live, which, I mean, come on, that's always the best way, right? The way to listen to it live is on Discord. Now, if you're not already familiar with Discord, I'm going to give a very quick little crash course on how you can connect to the server and connect into the channel. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of in the channel right now. There's a number of people that are waiting for the podcast to begin. We're here a little bit early. But the way to connect to the server, I'm going to have a link in the description. And what you want to do is just click on the link or copy and paste it, whatever. You can copy and paste it right into your browser. And that will take you in. You can click this accept invite button, or if you have the Discord app downloaded, whether you're on desktop, mobile, whatever, there's apps for any kind of device out there. You can click on this add a server button over here, click on join, and you could paste it right in there as well. And you will also join the server this way. I'm already in there, so I'm not going to click that button, but it just takes you right in. It's very simple. Once you're in Discord, once you have it open, basically your servers are on the top left over here. This is the home button, and then you have some servers over here. This is actually mine and Cade's server, which really I don't use Discord all that much, so it's basically Cade's server, but every once in a while maybe I'll pop in there. Some pretty cool things going on in that community though, so you guys should definitely join that one as well. But this is the UMCOC server, so yeah, this is going to be the one that you're in. You're going to see this icon over here, or maybe by the time you watch this video, maybe they'll have a different icon, but this is where you're going to want to click on basically. So you click on this server, takes you in, and then you have a whole bunch of different channels on the left side of the screen here. Again, this just to show it highlighted over here. This is the actual UMCOC podcast channel that you want to join, and again, there's already a bunch of us in there. Now, when you join, all you have to do is click on the server, and you're going to join. There is a limit of 95 spots open. It says 99, but that's because of course, you have to leave room for the people actually running the podcast. So there's 95 spots open. And when you're in there, I think it automatically mutes you, but if you're like me, you want to be absolutely sure. So just some quick little voice controls down here. You can click this button to mute or unmute, and click this button to to either listen or basically mute the rest of the podcast. So yeah, you can just very very simple to control that down there. And that's pretty much it. That's as far as listening in live goes. They have there's a news feed up here, which sometimes they'll post things. They're starting it a little bit late this evening. It's Sunday, and yeah, they're going to start at 8 p.m. EST, which by the time this video goes live, the podcast is probably going to be kind of mid-session, as this video is coming out just a little bit late. Sorry about that, guys. You might have to catch the tail end of this show or the next one or something. There's actually a podcast chat as well, which here we go. Click in the podcast chat, and you can talk about what the people on the podcast are talking about as you're still in the channel, you're still listening in, and then yeah, you can just talk about different things. Sometimes they take your comments or questions or anything like that. And it's great. It's the best run and longest running podcast for Marvel Contest of Champions. And like I said, they've had all kinds of guests. I'm going to show you a way to listen to it if you're not able to listen to it live, or you just can't figure out Discord or something like that. Because honestly, Discord, as popular as it is, there's a lot going on here, man. There's a ton going on here. It could be a little bit confusing at first. So I'm gonna go back to this little guide that they made for me to do this because again I'm not that familiar with all the podcast stuff myself. You can listen in on SoundCloud, which I'm gonna go to in just a second, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher. They say basically anywhere you can find podcast. Which if we go over to browser over here. Yeah, I literally just typed in UMCOC Podcast into Google. The first thing that pops up is SoundCloud and Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, whatever. There's all different ways to find it. Very easy to find, and it's totally free. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm just gonna play a brief clip from when Gabriel Frizzer was on. Again, he's the creative director for Marvel Contest of Champions. This guy knows more about what's going on in the game than pretty much anybody. Anyway, let me just play the clip. Let me shut up and just play the clip here. I'm just gonna play a minute of it. There's a whole lot here to listen to, so I'm just gonna play a brief minute.
The movies start coming in, and we decided, let's make more stuff inspired by the movies. We do have a version of Hulkbuster that is not inspired by the movie, inspired by the comics. I don't know if you remember, there's a chrome dome, there's a dome one, a different version of it that is actually modeled, but we decided to change it once we saw the version from the movies. We decided to go with that one. We do have a version of Scarlet Witch that is inspired by the Ultimate version.
Right.
Yeah.
We decided not to go with that one.
Pity. I love Ultimate Scarlet Witch.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit twisted, though. It's a bit weird and twisted. So we decided to go with the classic one. We do have a version, or the Doctor Strange, of course. We do have a version of Daredevil with the black from Men Without Fear.
Oh, yeah.
They repeated that one. They used that one in the Daredevil TV show. We do have that. We might release those later as a prize or something, as a special one. We did release a Ultron, the classic Ultron.
Yep.
We released that one.
They may release those as a special prize. Okay, interesting. So yeah, there's little bits of information that you can get from listening to the podcast, and it's just a great listen overall. That was just a minute of him going through, which kind of answers some of the questions that people may have. Maybe not all of the questions in that minute, of course, but people have known that there's certain characters in the game files or variations of characters that we already have, and maybe thinking like, well, what's the deal? Why can't we play with these characters? Why were they never added? Those are the types of questions that can be asked when he's on the podcast. And I believe he's going to return at some point as well, because I think it was a good overall experience for everybody, the community, for Gabriel Frizzer and everything. So he'll likely be a guest again in the future. You can listen to that podcast. That was episode number 65 here. But, there's a ton of different episodes to listen to. And it doesn't matter whether you just downloaded this game or you're an experienced veteran. They talk about all different things going on in the game. It's not just about end game players or anything like that. It's any type of player for MCOC. You're going to get something out of this podcast. And unfortunately, if I look back here, there's a bunch of people in here now. There's 30 people in. Looks like they're really getting, really about to get started here. So this video is probably going to come out just too late to listen to live. But you can listen to it again by going to one of these other networks, this SoundCloud or whatever. You can listen to it free there. These guys, they put all this out for free for the community. They do have a Patreon if you're able to help support. I'm sure they would greatly appreciate that. But if not, then hey, it's free for a reason. They understand that not everyone is able to do something like that. So you could totally just listen in for free. Again, join the channel, join the podcast chat. You can get in the conversation a little bit, and also one last thing: if you are having a trouble with Discord, if you are having trouble getting into the channel and everything like that, there is actually a direct link. I'm gonna put this in the description below as well, but this will take you actually right into the podcast chat itself, or the podcast channel itself. It's probably better just to kind of familiarize yourself a little bit with Discord, because there's a lot of other cool things going on in the different Discord communities as well. So it's probably a good idea just to join the actual server and not be thrown right in there. But if for some reason you're having a hard time, you just take this link and you do the exact same thing I showed you with the previous link, where add server, join server, enter this in here, and it will actually throw you right into that channel that I'm already in, so I'm not going to do that right now. So there you go. That's pretty much everything you need to know about the UMCOC podcast. Give it a shot, give it a listen. I think it's clearly the most professionally run and the longest standing podcast for Marvel Concepts of Champions. So if you're going to try out some podcast, you might as well try out this one. It's great to play as you're doing a grind or something like that. There's nothing better than just kind of kicking back, getting your game on, and listening in to what's going on in the MCOC community. So that is going to do it for this video. Yeah, they're definitely getting started now, so I'm going to kind of unmute things here and listen to the podcast. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.